How's everybody doing today? All right, so we got a good amount of people in here, so let's just start this thing off. Everybody that's here already, thank you for tuning in for tonight's relaunch of Sip and Aspire. My name is Scott Wong. I'm a real estate agent with Douglas Elliman, but I also run business development for the Asian American Business Development Center. Before we get started, just wanted to mention that the event's going to run for about an hour until 8 p.m., and we'll save about 10 to 15 minutes at the end for Q&A with Jimmy. So if you have any questions you want to ask, just add them into the chat box and we'll go through those at the end. And then also something I wanted to mention is there'll be a link posted in the chat at the beginning, at the end, for a chance for 12 people to win an exclusive educational experience with the Hennessy ambassador. It's definitely something you don't want to miss. So keep an eye out for that and make sure that you click the link and register for that. So for those of you who are attending for the first time, I just want to give a little background about the program. So Sip and Aspire is a collaborative event series between the Asian American Business Development Center and Hennessy XO through an ongoing partnership that we've had with the purpose of highlighting Asian American entrepreneurs, business owners, and corporate movers and shakers who are dominating their industries and paving the way for the next generation by sharing their stories, experiences, struggles, and advice that serve as sort of a guide to help the next person looking to follow a similar path. So AABDC has also heavily been involved in Hennessy's Unfinished Business initiative, which Sip and Aspire is now a part of. Unfinished Business is a program that provides immediate relief and long-term support to Black, Asian, and Latinx small business owners. To date, it's raised upwards of $5 million in funding that's been given to over 1,600 diverse small businesses since its inception in summer of 2020. And I think we all kind of fully believe in the idea that collaboration and working together leads to shared success, but more importantly, a strong sense of community, which in recent times is something that is needed more than ever for the Asian American community and minority communities as a whole. And we hope through events like these and with all of the amazing organizations that are out there working to unite people of color, that we'll be able to help and come out stronger than ever before. So with that being said, I think that's the perfect segue into introducing our guest tonight, someone who has made it his mission not only to serve the best Vietnamese food on this side of the world, but to genuinely service his community that he loves, someone I know personally that always makes time to help others, uplifts those around him to be better. And he's the owner, executive chef of Madame Vo and Madame Vo Barbecue, Mr. Jimmy Lee.
How's it going, everybody? How's it going, Scott?
How's it going, Jimmy? Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us today.
No, it's truly an honor, man.
Yeah, no, I know you'll drop some gems on us today. So, why don't we just start off, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Well, guys, as Scott already said, I'm the chef and owner of Madame Vo Barbecue. Born and raised in New York, just a kid from Queens, Chinese, Vietnamese, and just grew up loving food. And coming from Queens, just growing up in Queens is one of the most diversified boroughs in New York. And, just loving life and just hoping to inspire and really learn and just taking it all in, guys, and just really, really trying to pave the road for the younger generation and my peers.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely know, community and helping the people around you, that's something that you really put a lot of focus on. But I mean, just talking about the restaurant to begin with, what's Madame Vo? How did you come up with that name?
So basically, Madame Vo is just a reference to my wife. My wife's last name is Vo, so Yen Vo. So Madame Vo is yet my wife, and also like paying homage to the women who helped raise me throughout my life and who taught me how to cook.
Okay.
And
I know, New York is already a restaurant that's filled with not just Vietnamese, but Asian cuisine, so many of them, so what kind of, made you decide to open your own, and what differentiates you from the ones that are already out there?
Just growing up in New York and being Vietnamese, we just felt like the Vietnamese community wasn't as strong in New York, and just finding good Vietnamese food was really difficult. Like there was only like one or two spots when I was growing up that we loved, but it wasn't what we grew up eating at home, and So what really inspired me and my wife to open a restaurant when we first met initially, she asked me because she's from Mississippi, and then she was in Houston, Texas for school, and like Vietnamese food was just amazing over there. So she moved to New York for work, and that's when we first met. And her first question to me was, where can I get good Vietnamese food? And I was just like, I didn't want to sound like a creep or anything, but I was like, look, like my house, you got to eat really good Vietnamese food. It's going to be at my house. This is the first time I met this girl. So, and she's such a foodie. So she didn't take it like I was a creep or anything. She was like, oh, what's your mom making?
Yeah.
And so the second day, she actually came over and mom cooked, and that was really the whole story behind it. Like that's how we came up with Madame Bo, and then we ended up getting married. We have 2 kids now, and like it was just the love of food and just doing it for the culture, and especially me being from New York, it really meant a lot for me just to have Vietnamese representation. Because growing up, like I know I'm half Chinese, and like I have a diverse group of friends, like every nationality, and that's the beauty of growing up in New York. But I felt like Vietnamese was, wasn't getting represented like properly, and it wasn't like there wasn't that many people that knew about it. Like Chinese food, Japanese food, like it was everybody knew Thai food, and that really like drove us to open Madame Vo.
I think, yeah, I kind of agree. I feel like, Vietnamese food has always been around, obviously, but it's kind of really exploded, in the past maybe 10 years or so. You're seeing a lot more restaurants pop up, but what you said kind of, goes into my next question. I know there's a lot of different types of Vietnamese foods, and it kind of depends on region of Vietnam as well. But, having a Vietnamese girlfriend, I also know that every family has their own recipes and how they cook things, and their families is always the best. Nobody else compares. So, how did you come up with your recipes and something that's so universally liked, by everybody else? Where does that inspiration come from?
I'm To be honest with you guys, like a lot of our dishes were inspired by foods that we grew up on, and my menu is pretty much a lot of things that from my family and also from my wife's family. And so we're my family, my mom and her mom, we're from southern Vietnam. So most of our dishes are southern Vietnamese style. And and just growing up and just wanted to innovate, and we opened a restaurant, and we just wanted to just really grow the Vietnamese culture and just really expand on those dishes for people to try and know, because obviously the main staples are pho and banh mi, right?
Yeah.
And like those are amazing, but like there's so many other dishes in the spectrum where people just haven't heard about, haven't seen it, they don't know about it. So we really want to introduce that for them, and that's really it. Like there was no frills or anything, nothing fancy, nothing crazy. It was just like home style cooking, and we wanted to bring it in a New York restaurant for you.
So it's kind of like a combination of your family as well as your wife's family putting together the best of both.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you said there's a lot of things, which I do know on your menu, there's a lot of things that you might not find at other Vietnamese restaurants. But even more specifically, after you opened Madame Vo, you opened Madame Vo Barbecue, which, outside of maybe Houston, Texas, I've never seen in New York, I've never seen anywhere else. How did you decide to bring that here? And how come there hasn't been something like Vietnamese barbecue in New York before?
So for when first opening up Madame Vo, we didn't know how crazy it was going to be. Like me and my wife, we really opened up with one goal, and it was really like we're doing it for ourselves, we're doing it for our culture, and we wanted to really elevate our culture. And I felt that we've been left behind for a while, especially for Vietnamese food, right?
Yeah.
So like Vietnamese food has been like your perception of New York and perception of people when they think about Southeast Asian food and like Vietnamese food, they think that it's cheap, right? So like, and and I'm looking through different Asian cultures that inspire me, like Japanese and even like Chinese food, Thai, like everyone's really they're breaking those boundaries in terms of pricing and quality, right? Like we want to give you quality food, but like at a proper price where there's so much blood, sweat, and tears that go behind certain dishes that are made at our restaurant, right? And like we wanted to break that boundary of like their perception of the value of it. So just an example, like a pho would be like $8, $7. And I'm like, dude, like how do we elevate that and just make it better and like give you better quality meats and have a better experience eating it, just not just eating it just to eat it.
Right.
So for us, it was elevating the culture. So that's why going back to that question with Manavo Barbecue,
Yeah.
we had so much success with that, and we've ever been so grateful for it. Everybody was like, hey, you're doing so well, you should open up a new Madame Vo somewhere else. For me, as for what we originally wanted our mission to was to like really showcase a different side of Vietnamese food for people, right? So that's why it inspired me to open up barbecue. It has never been done in New York. So for me, it was just like, look, like Vietnamese barbecue is a real thing, but no one ever put a title to it, right? Like you go to every Vietnamese spot, there's barbecue, but they're not going to say it's Vietnamese barbecue. They're going to say it's pork chop over rice. They're going to say it's, you know, shrimp vermicelli, but it's grilled, it's barbecue. So like when I went to Vietnam, I was so inspired, you know, and just to see the culture and just to see where our food has taken off and how incredible it tastes. I wanted to share and showcase that side of the world to New York. So me as a New Yorker, me as a Vietnamese American, I was like, man, we really have to do this. So at the end of the day, it was really just to push the boundaries and to push me as a chef and to push my people forward and be like, look, like it was scary because a lot of people were like, what is Vietnamese barbecue? And like people tried it and they loved it. And, you know, of course there was a lot of trial and error, but like
Right.
we really did it, you know?
Definitely. I mean, I definitely think you accomplished that mission, you know, in terms of elevating the culture. You're doing things that a lot of those Vietnamese restaurants or a lot of people aren't doing. You know, you're kind of breaking boundaries, especially with Madame Vo Barbecue, bringing something brand new here, kind of taking that risk. But, you know, it's been doing well. I mean, how long now has it been that the restaurant's been open?
So Madamville's been open for 3.5 years, almost going 4. Barbecue, we've been open for a year and a half, but unfortunately right now because of COVID and there was a major fire next door on our block, we had to shut down Madamville Barbecue temporarily until I can figure it out. But I'm still pushing, and I still have a lot of plans for Madamville Barbecue. We're not done yet, but
Yeah.
right now it's just out of my hands. So yeah.
So, I mean, in that such short period of a time, you know, to be able to build such a following like you have from celebrities to just locals who love coming there regularly, how do you kind of, or what do you attribute all that success to? What do you think brought so many people in and continue to support the restaurant and you guys?
I mean, to be honest with you guys, like it's really just community, you know, and for us, me growing up in New York and just just community. You know, we are where we are today because of our community, and we've never taken that for granted. And we want to be as engaging as possible. For me as a chef, I mean, I was stuck in the kitchen for about 2 years, and you know, I was stuck just grinding, just banging out, making sure all my dishes are like great and perfect for my guests. And then, you know, from time to time now that I'm staffed, I like to go out and speak with my customers. I like to see their experience. I want to hear what they have to say about my food, you know, and I think the most rewarding thing is when you know a patron comes into your restaurant and they're like, man, your food is great. Like it's such a great experience, you know, and that's what it is. And like with all the celebrities and stuff, it was just like we're so blessed and so lucky, you know, that I'm putting out food that I grew up eating, and like it's reaching a broader spectrum than what we initially thought.
Mhm.
And like that to me, like that's such a blessing, and I know that I'm very lucky. But like these celebrities that came to support us, like they really genuinely are foodies, and they came just to eat our food, and they leave and they remember us, and like that's there's nothing more I can ask for, you know. And we make friends, and it's just like just building the community, and celebrities and anybody else that comes to my restaurant, there's no difference. Like we treat you the same, you know.
I think going back to the community part of it, that's, something that's very important, that ties back to Sip and Aspire, and kind of the whole reason why we're doing this is to, kind of bring up the community together, because you have to pass on information, you have to pass on, success to the next generation. And I think, yeah, like you mentioned, that kind of helped a lot in bringing people to the restaurant and bringing the name out there. But then even beyond that, especially with COVID and the whole pandemic, I know during that whole time, all of 2020, you and your team were out there every day donating food, thousands of meals, offering your time at different places to help people that needed the help. So, what kind of drive you to do that? And where did you find the time, within all of your busy schedule, just to be able to go out there and do more for the community?
I mean, I never intended Madam Vo family to be a one-way relationship, right?
Mhm.
Just as the community has supported us and we have grown throughout the years, we have worked to like support the community both throughout the pandemic and beyond. Simply because our relationship with our community members has always been grounded with respect and care. Uh, and and it was a big deal for us. Like New York took a really big hit during the pandemic, and for us as a restaurant, and for me as a person, um, I just it broke my heart to see, all the frontline workers putting in those hours, didn't want to be there, but were forced to because they didn't have a choice, and just like if we can help them with just one meal or just with anything, just to let them know that we're there for them and we see you, and we appreciate you. And it was just like a small token of our appreciation. And it was really small, but it was something that we could have done, and we wanted to make a difference,
For sure.
and we hope we did. So it's always, it will always go back to that. You can never be as successful as you want to be without community.
I mean, just as much as you appreciate the frontline workers that you were helping, I'm sure they appreciate the things that you were doing for them, just as much. And I think during the pandemic, we saw a lot of that in New York as a whole. New York is a kind of a special community, whether it's the restaurant industry or whatever industry it is. When people need it, they kind of help each other. But on another part of the community discussion, I know something that's kind of unique with Madame Vo, and something that you really try to do a lot is collaborate and work with, different people in the industry, whether it's different restaurants or brands, co-collaborating on different events like Apex for Youth, and some other different restaurants, 886. So how do you kind of pick and choose these types of collaborations, and what's the purpose of you doing these?
I would say that there are two main factors that drove us to seek out collaborations with different restaurants and brands. The first is simply our dedication to fostering a sense of community in New York, right? So we go back to that. Moreover, the second reason is that we have sought out collaborations with folks whose work inspire us. There are so many brands who are constantly innovating and pushing the envelope on what it means to be a part of the hospitality industry. And if we hope that this collaboration allows us to come together, create something unique, and the community can enjoy, we could importantly learn from one another. And like every collaboration that we have done a few, and like I'm just like their biggest fans, and being able to work with them, and I would genuinely eat at their restaurant because I love either what they're doing or I love their food. And like just making friends in the industry, and it's super fun, and relating with each other, and talking about our own problems, and like that's a big part of life and big part of business. So like that's what we love.
Yeah. I think, it's like a win-win situation for everybody. You're helping each other. And I mean, you see that across a lot of industries, especially with brands these days, collaborating, every brand collaborating with each other to bring out the next, product, shoes, sneaker, whatever it might be. Um, And I've seen a lot of the kind of collaborations that you guys did were, pretty unique and something that you've never seen before in the food industry. But then I guess going back to, COVID and during the pandemic, I'm sure some of those things kind of got put to a halt, but then also a lot of new collaborations and partnerships came out of that. So what was like some of the, I guess, biggest changes you had to deal with once the pandemic hit? I guess your initial reaction to it, and what was the immediate impact that it had on Madame Vo?
Man, I remember it like it was yesterday, to be honest with you. It was what, mid-March, you know, coronavirus spiking coming into the country, like it was getting wild. There was that last week of mid-March where I remember it was a Sunday and I was in the kitchen and it was dinner service. And I remember the dining area was we had customers, but the vibe was very like stale. Like it was just really quiet, right? And so we were just like, oh shit, it's getting fucking real. So we're like, what do we do on Tuesday? Because we close on Mondays. We call up all our restaurant friends, and everybody's like, I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know if the government's gonna shut us down. So I was like, you know what? Let's just for the safety of my staff and for us, I think we're just gonna close because we're closed on Monday. We're gonna close on Tuesday, give it a couple days, and just watch the news and see what happens. So we closed. We closed immediately on what I think Monday. On the news they announced a government mandate to close all restaurants. Everything had to close and to start everybody quarantining.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it got crazy.
Yeah.
And it gave me 1 week to stay home. And we're home and we're just like, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, like we're like, it's about to hit the fan. So we closed for 1 week and we're just watching the news. Everybody doesn't know what's happening. Everybody doesn't know what's going on. This has never happened before. We closed for a week. And then, obviously we have to stay closed. You can't open for indoor dining, nothing. So I took a whole week off to gather my thoughts and see what we wanted to do. And then I called up my staff and I asked, hey, like, who wants to work and who doesn't want to work? Because I didn't want to force people to work if they didn't want to, because they didn't know the situation. And then the people that gathered that I called that wanted to work, it was like about 3 of them. And I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to open up all the platforms for to-go and deliveries. At the time when everything was normal pre-pandemic, my restaurant didn't sign up with that many vendors. We were only with Caviar and DoorDash at the time before their merger. Mm-hmm. And then so we're like, okay. So I was like, okay. So I called up every vendor and I signed up. Delivery.com, Seamless Grubhub, just Uber Eats, like everybody. I signed up for all the platforms and I said, guys, like you guys come to work, keep the doors closed. We're going to open only for delivery just to keep the ball rolling. So a week after, that's what we did. And we haven't closed since. And we followed all the government mandates and all the rules that were given out. And it was just the mindset was survival, right? And the mindset was, man, a lot of my staff were living paycheck to paycheck, right? And so I felt responsible for them. And I felt that they have families, they have a life to live, and I needed to do something for them, right? So I called everybody and everybody worked when they could, and we just did to go all the way until we were able to open at 25% capacity. And then later 50% capacity. And then it just kept on going. And it just trickled down to, I worked with all the staff that wanted to work. And we raised money for them. And we gave all the money to the staff, for them because they couldn't work. A lot of my staff, I had a lot of people on staff and it trickled down to only like 3-4 people. and it was really sad. So it was a really rough year for, I can imagine, every single person in the hospitality industry, but it was really rough for me. And we were just trying to figure it out.
I mean, is there any things that you feel like changed permanently because of the pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, the pandemic really like messed up everything. So cleaning, how we greet our guests, tracing now. We have like contact tracing and everybody has to sign in now. It's annoying, but it's things that we have to do. And cleaning supplies have gone up with the expenses.
Sure.
Yeah, just really that's it. And we're just trying to follow all the rules that we can, and we want to make sure our guests are safe. And yeah, temperature checks, all this stuff out of the norm that we have to do. But it's here to stay, and we're just gonna have to get used to it if we want to stay in business.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's something that's going to go away anytime soon. Maybe not. It's kind of a part of the whole process now of going out to eat, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but things are kind of slowly improving now. You go outside, not as many people are wearing masks anymore. The weather's getting nicer. The city's kind of coming back. So what is the plan going forward? I guess you have a lot of things opening up now, a lot of opportunities for you too. And kind of, you must have some idea of what you plan for the future and what the future holds for Madame Vo.
Yeah, that's a great question. So during the pandemic, like I literally just stopped everything that was in motion, that was in the pipeline. And then now that things are reopening, we're kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. So I'm slowly revisiting everything that I initially wanted to do. But like one of the better things about this is that we have outdoor dining now, right? That we don't have to apply a permit for. It's a shitty thing to say, but we have outdoor dining now, and that's kind of exciting. And then there's a lot of things that I have a lot of expansion plans for Madame Vo. Just certain things I'm not ready to discuss right now because,
okay.
But definitely our mindset is expansion. Our mindset is working with inspired chefs that inspire us. And I have a lot of collaborations that I'm going to be doing. I just can't disclose anything right now. So I'm sorry, guys, but like everybody just stay tuned. You guys can follow us on Madame Vo. And, I really, really hope to see everybody. And just innovating my menu and bringing out newer dishes. I literally took a year off, and I just need to get back in the kitchen and do what I love again. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to bring the fire and work in the kitchen again.
Yeah, no, I know that's something you love because, you're the owner, you're the executive chef, but you're also in the back of the kitchen every day, working, cooking up meals. That's something that you enjoy. I mean, is that something that you've done less of now that, I guess as a change with the pandemic, you kind of have to focus on other things and you kind of need to have, people you trust in the kitchen that can make sure they maintain that level of quality.
Yeah. No, for sure. I took a year break. I haven't been in the kitchen at all. I only come in for like when I need to be for big orders and stuff like that. But I have such an amazing staff, and we created such a great work environment. It's a very family oriented style. Like it's just like everybody that's a part of the Madame Vo team is family. And I'm fortunate enough to say that I have a team that can handle the restaurant and I don't have to be there as much, but I come out, 2 or 3 times a week now, since the pandemic's kind of slowed down a little bit and things are getting better. I truly miss it. It's just been very difficult for me. I have 2 boys, so it's been homeschool and like, just being there for the kids, and it's been really difficult, but I'm so happy to see New York is getting back and just that fire again, it's initial fire, that fire just that drives all of us. It's back, and I'm going to bring it now.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that I'm just always impressed by with entrepreneurs, people who are running multiple businesses or even working for a company and starting their own business. You have a family, like you mentioned, you have two kids, you have two restaurants. How do you kind of manage that time? What do you do to make sure that you get everything done, not just business wise, but with your family, which is, equally as important, if not more?
I mean, honestly, like I've been in the weeds a lot with the businesses. The restaurants are no joke. I mean, anybody who wants to be in the restaurant industry, just be prepared for long hours and just that grind. And if you love what you do, just do it. Uh, Initially, when I started the business, I had no time. Like I said, the first 2 years, it was open and close, open and close. I was in the restaurant every day, doing every little thing that I could have done, and then just hiring the right staff. When you're ready and you're ready to train, and the ins and out of your business, and just properly training the right people. It's very vital, and that's what I learned. So I was just grinding for 2 years, and then it was just time. My kids needed me, and I found great staff. I trained them, and do all the stuff that I used to do, and hiring people front, back of house, and just checking in on them so I can have more time and kind of have a balanced lifestyle with work and family, which was very important. So it all came down to like just training and experience.
Hmm. But also you have to put a lot of trust, I guess, into people because it's your baby, right? You want to maintain that level. You've already built it up to such a high standard. How do you kind of just pass it along to somebody else?
No, for sure. I mean, I deal with a lot of people, and there's a lot of good ones. There's a lot of bad ones. You have to give them time before you can actually feel that you
Yeah.
can walk away. Of course, in the beginning phase, it's always like a 2 to 3 month process until I feel that they can handle it. I can trust them. And time will tell. I think time would show a lot about a person's character, and you spending more time with them and working with them and day-to-day basis. You can kind of feel it in your gut to know who you can trust.
Right.
you know but I think it all comes down to training, and it all comes down to what you want. And if you hit those points, and you'll be okay. I think people just need leadership, and people need um great guidance. No one's going to be able to read your mind and know what you want. And you just have to really just be there for the whole training process.
Mhm. I mean, yeah, I think you gave a lot of good tips right there. But also, I ask because, I think a lot of people who are attending this event tonight are young professionals, whether they're entrepreneurs themselves or they're working for, large companies and they have dreams or ideas of wanting to open their own business. What's some of the advice that you could give to them, being able to manage a full-time job and at the same time starting a business, which is a whole other grind in itself, just the amount of time you have to put into it.
Man, so when I initially started Madame Bo, to be honest with you guys, like I was in a bad place. I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. But I always had this passion for food, and I always came back to it. And I remember that when I started it, like I really, really deep down in my gut, like no matter what it took, like I want to open this restaurant. Like I just wanted to open it and just do it on my own, you know. And it was just me feeling uncomfortable. Like you just had to be in an uncomfortable situation to actually push you. Like for me, that's what pushed me. I know everybody's different, but for me, like I was in a very uncomfortable situation where I was broke. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't know what my future was gonna happen. Hold for me. I was lost. But I always had this one goal, which was like I want to open up a restaurant. And my wife played a big role in that, and she really pushed me to be the man who I am today. And she was like, look, like you really need to do something with yourself. You really need to get up on your ass and be a man, basically. Stop whining and complaining. Um, and long story short, like she pushed me so hard where I wanted it so bad because I was in a very uncomfortable place. And it pushed me to that point. And I worked so hard. I wanted it so badly. And like I think that's what driven me to be where I am today. And I still have a lot of work to be done. I'm not done yet, and I have a lot to learn, and I'm growing every day, from people and my experiences and everything in life. And I just think that you just need to have that drive. Either you want it or you don't. If not, someone else is going to take it.
Shout out to Yen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess you've came a long way, like you said, but you feel like you're not done. I feel like most entrepreneurs, people who have great ideas, they don't feel like they're done. They always want to do something better. What is some of those things that you feel like you've achieved already that you're happy with, but what is maybe something that you're still chasing?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like I want to, so like the first, I opened Madame Vo, it's been 4 years. I opened 2 restaurants in total, like in the 4 years that I've done it. I mean, for me, I felt like that was a huge achievement. Like that's crazy, especially in New York. It's super hard in New York. And for me to open 2 restaurants and build the name for what it is now, like I'm so proud of that. And I couldn't be more thankful uh to the community for that. And just what I want to do next is just open up more restaurants, and like I want to be like that restaurateur. That's my goal. I kind of want to like level up. Scotty, like
Yeah.
you're there, and then you want the next level, and the next level is improving myself and be able to do more public speaking and to be able to cook on screen and to be able to open up more restaurants and different concepts.
Mhm.
Right, that's all under Vietnamese cuisine. And for me, it's just to open up different concepts and grow the Madame Vo name, because at the end of the day, like to me, Madame Vo means family, and it's just like we really want to share our culture and share the love through our restaurants. And
Right.
it's been really tough, but we're gonna really keep on pushing. And it's always going into the unknown. That's kind of fun but scary at the same time.
Sure. Yeah, you need that balance of both.
Yeah, so life's an experience.
So Hennessy XO, they have a saying about the path to greatness being an odyssey. So how would you describe your odyssey that's guided you and Madame Vo on the path, that has taken you and where it's at now in such a short period of time?
Oh man.
Yeah,
uh
it's a big one.
yeah. I guess I kind of answered that question earlier. Yeah, it's just going into the unknown, man. Just fucking don't stress too much and have your eyes on the prize and know what you want. And there's going to be a lot of hiccups in the road, just to get to that destination or that goal. But constantly like find solutions, constantly push yourself. you know every day should be better than the day before,
Mhm.
and just learn from your experiences and your mistakes. I For me, I learned a lot from my mistakes that I made on my own. And there's no, once you make that mistake, there's nobody else to blame but yourself. And I think that really, helps a person grow.
Mhm.
And so like just going into the unknown, and just got a good head on your shoulders, guys. Like just really be confident in yourself. Never be arrogant, but be confident, and know what you want.
And so that kind of answers my last question, but I was going to say if there's any sort of advice or some kind of useful information that you think you want to share to other people who are looking to do the same thing, whether it's restaurant or any type of business that are kind of just right there and waiting to take the leap and just need that extra push.
I mean, you know, I hope I hope you guys take this like how it is. It's just like, guys, like just be innovative. and be original. Don't be afraid of who you are. You know, I mean, what drives me nuts is like all this copycat bullshit and all this like, oh, this person's doing it like this. I can do it too. I can do it cheaper. I hate that shit. You know what I mean? Like, just be yourself, be original, think outside the box sometimes. And like, just don't be afraid to like voice your opinion and voice it out, and build confidence, guys. That there's times when you just feel down and you just feel like fuck, like shit, things are rough, but you know, another day, it doesn't rain all the time, guys. Like you guys really have to like go out there, push yourself, and just have that self drive. If you love yourself, then you can do it. You have to love yourself first. And every time I do something, every time I get myself into a situation, or if I'm about to open a new business or do something, you always have to think about worst case scenario before you think about best case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And I think going into life, you never know. It's unpredictable, but always try to narrow down what's the worst that can happen and what's the best that can happen. And then you weigh it out. Life is about balance, and you would have to make that decision on your own.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty much. So I guess that will be the last question I had for you. Thank you so much again. Like I thought you dropped a lot of gems, a lot of really good information here. Definitely want to take some time to take some questions. It looks like we had a good amount of questions that came in. So let's see if we just start off from the top. Did you, Jimmy, study culinary arts or have any sort of professional training in cooking?
No, guys. I never went to culinary school. I never worked in a trained kitchen. I literally came from home style cooking. I came from my mom's kitchen. And the funny story is that I was my mom's sous chef, like growing up.
That's how you learn the best.
That's how I learned. And, and it's just my passion for food.
And then an interesting question is, can you talk a little bit about Madame Vo's pho soup base? It's very unique. It's got a ton of umami and also sweetness, the latter of which is very unique. So can you talk a little bit about that?
No, for sure. So Madame Vo's pho is the best of both worlds. It's from my mom's side and my wife's mom. So the short rib was like the main factor of our broth, right? So that was from Mississippi mom, my wife's mom. And it's just different layers of bones. We want to layer the flavors. We wanted to make it as beefy as possible. And we also want to capture all like the five spices and everything. But it really comes down, the core of it is just the soup base, which is different types of cuts of bones, right? So we have neck bone, we have short rib, we have shin bone. Like it's really different layers of flavor. And I have a couple of videos that are online. On my Munchies video, I went over how to make a bowl of pho online. So if you guys
find that on YouTube, or where can they?
Yeah, you can find that on YouTube. Just type Jimmy Lee Munchies. It's a whole tutorial of how I made my pho, and I tell you the whole story. So you guys can go on that, or you guys can even DM me at the Hungry Hype Beast on Instagram if you guys want. I would love to chat with you guys there.
Perfect. Are you planning to introduce dessert to the menu anytime soon?
Yes, I am. So I don't know if you guys know, but we did a collaboration with Bun by Lauren. She's a really good friend of ours, and she makes amazing Vietnamese desserts. And we're looking to put her on our menu and working together with her. So it's going to happen in the next 2 weeks to 3 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Soon. Okay. So some questions just kind of regarding the business, and I also maybe some changes that you might have experienced. Did you kind of have to adjust the menu for a to-go menu? Because I know a lot of foods, aren't really the same when it's not served fresh. So how did you kind of have to adjust for that, maybe during the pandemic or at the beginning of it?
We had to take out a lot of menus that didn't travel well, of course. But we have so many items on our menu um, that I didn't really have to add on during the pandemic. I just had to take off because I knew that certain dishes didn't travel well. But
Hmm.
now that we're on full force, we're opening, so our full menu is done, and we're working on specials as well.
Okay. And then when it comes to outdoor dining, how did that affect your business now that it seems like outdoor dining is kind of a regular part of dining now, where people are spending or restaurants are spending, tens of thousands of dollars on these, pretty nice outdoor setups. So how did that affect your business? And do you feel like the practice of outdoor dining kind of elevated the service level at restaurants?
Honestly, it's good and bad. So it's good that there's outdoor dining because I can have more tables outside. I can accommodate more guests. But the downside of it, in terms of front of house standpoint, front of my servers, they're not too happy with it. It's just another like another step to go outside, and I've heard complaints from my front of house staff, like, it's just too much for them to handle. So, they're trying their best. And I know in the hospitality industry, like, I know restaurants are going full decked out, everything
Yeah.
outdoors, and like they're catering to that. I mean, my restaurant isn't as big, so I'm not fortunate enough to have that. But for what I have right now, it's what we can do. And
Okay.
just like, yeah.
And do you feel like the food delivery platforms like Uber Eats, Seamless, and all of them, are they still going to be around in the future? Are they still going to be trendy? I know that a lot of restaurants actually don't like using these services, and they kind of have, from what I've heard, do a disservice to a lot of restaurants. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, first question, the first answer is they're going to stick around. They're not going anywhere. Second answer is they suck. Okay? I'm just going to be straight up with you. Uber Eats and like Seamless and stuff. You know what? Like they're pinning restaurants to the corner and we have nowhere to go. We
Mhm.
have we have no choice but to sign up with them. Their fees are bullshit.
Yeah.
Their fees are like 35, 32%. I mean, the most reasonable one is DoorDash, but they're still taking a lot. They're
Yeah.
taking like 25%, you know? But like Grubhub, Seamless, Uber Eats, for us, why we signed up, it was just to have a revenue stream. It wasn't like for profit. They're taking 35, 32% of your sales. Like, what is there left? The margins aren't that crazy for food, and like with the constant rise of food costs now, I mean, it's so difficult for us restaurateurs to actually make it, and for them to take out this cut, it's just bullshit. And you can't say anything. You just don't have a choice, and you just stick with it until things get better, and then you figure it out. And I'm pretty sure that most restaurants are going through the same thing.
Yeah. So is there something that I guess any other restaurateur would prefer people to do, order from you directly? I mean, because I know some restaurants don't necessarily have delivery service, but I guess what's an alternative that they can do that would better support you guys?
I mean, honestly, guys, like I always tell people, dine in, order direct. Call. I know it sucks. Just call them in, order directly, or order from their website. Come pick it up. I know everybody. We're living in a world where everybody wants convenience and everything's easy. A click of a button. I get it. I get it. But
Mhm.
like to support local restaurants, like pick up yourself. Go to their websites if they have merch. If you're a fan of their restaurant, pick up their merch. Support local businesses and support your favorite restaurant.
You sell your merch on your website?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Anti-Noodle Noodle Club.
Yeah, yeah. And we did pin trail. We have pin trails.
Yeah.
We have pins. We have hats. We just did a collaboration with Baggu bags, reusable bags that are great for vacations. Yeah. So just trying to bring all that to the website.
Okay. So Steven looks like he really likes Madame Vo's interior decoration and the design, which I think is really nice too. And I think you mentioned to me that you guys kind of pieced that all together little by little. How did you guys come up with the whole concept for your interior design, and what are like some of your favorite pieces in there?
So initially when I started at Manvo, like we wanted to be very French inspired. right? So Madame is
Yeah.
French. So and also Vietnam used to be colonized by the French, right? So we wanted to have that very Euro, very French inspiration, but also like modern and East Village, right? So when I started doing designs at the restaurant, I didn't want the restaurant to feel too bougie, and I also didn't want it to feel too um, what grungy, because I know we're in the East Village, so I wanted to like get that good blend of
Mhm.
both, like very New York, but very like French is Vietnamese inspired. So that's where the inspiration came from.
Okay. Do you have any plans to open a restaurant in Brooklyn? If so, what area?
Currently at the moment, not in Brooklyn. We're looking to stay in Manhattan right now, but I wouldn't say no. But just as of the moment, not yet, guys.
Okay. Or at least that's not something that's ready for the public yet.
Yeah,
Um, Interesting question. Do you have a 10-year plan?
I do. I do. Obviously, all our leases are long-term leases, but we've been really pushing the envelope and doing sausage. We did collaborations with Omsom,
Yeah.
which is a sauce brand, which took off during the pandemic because a lot of people are cooking at home. So right now, what I'm focusing on is branding and taking our brand to different levels, reaching different demographics. And I feel that from building the brand would open up doors to everything else,
Mhm.
right? So our first example was Omsom. We took off with them. People are cooking at home. They're having a part of Madame Vo, even though they can't come to Madame Vo, but they're getting a sauce packet and they can cook a meal that they can get at Madame Vo. So like just getting my foot into all these different platforms and getting my name out there, I feel that that would open up the future for
Okay.
us, and then for us to open up more locations that are sustainable, and just reinvesting my time and my money into the business to keep it growing.
Okay. Are those still available? Where can people buy these sauces if they want to?
Oh, you could go on omsom.com. It's spelled omsom.com. And we have our own packet, and they also collaborated with other great chefs as
Mhm.
well, like Korean, Chinese, Japanese, Filipino, Thai. So just pick your flavor, whatever you guys want to try at home.
Okay. And I guess one more question. Are you on Twitter?
Oh, sorry guys, I'm not on Twitter. I'm just on Instagram.
Which you shared already, right? If you want
Yeah,
to come up it again.
yeah, the Hungry Hype Beast on Instagram.
All right, perfect. So it looks like we just about at that time. I just wanted to remind again that whoever's participating now, look in the chat box for the link for the chance to win an exclusive educational experience with a Hennessy ambassador. I promise you, it'll be something that's really worth it. There's 12 people that get a chance to win. So if you go to the chat box, you see the link just posted there by Patrick. And again, thank you, Jimmy, so much, for joining us, giving us so much great information. It was a pleasure talking to you as always.
Oh man, thank you, man. It was such an honor, and I really hope that my words could inspire. Thank you, guys.
Definitely, I think so. And anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to Jimmy on Instagram, order some food and merchandise from his website. Visit, restaurants are open again now, so definitely take some time to go in there and check it out if you haven't already.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you guys so much for attending, and yep, leave it at that.
Later, Scott.
Thanks, man. Take care.